Welcome to the second workshop for the Transform Weight Loss Challenge for Marion County employees. So today we came and we're having a hands-on workshop on how to prepare two things. The first one is breakfast, overnight oats, and then the second one would be like a meal, like a dinner or a lunch or some type of thing. It's actually Marry Me Chicken. So the first thing, the overnight oats. Everyone was sent a recipe, a sheet with the recipes for different overnight oat type meals or breakfasts. And so the one I chose had the layer of peanut butter and the layer of blueberry jam. I don't necessarily do peanut butter, I do almond butter or cashew butter. So I'm gonna use those things to make substitutes for when I prepare mine. And I'm not gonna use almond milk, I'm gonna use oat milk. So we are gonna go through I'm going to talk about the steps of what you need to do for the overnight oats. You're going to need to get a bowl. So funny thing is, we made this already and realized that the camera died. So we've already done it, so I'm just going to walk through the steps. So we got a bowl, this size bowl, and we put in 5 ounces of vanilla yogurt, vanilla Greek yogurt. By no means am I sponsoring anyone, that's just whatever I picked up from the store. And then we put in a cup, 1 1/4 cups of, like I said, the creamy oat milk, the extra creamy oat milk, that's what I like to use. You can use almond milk, coconut milk, low-fat milk, whatever you'd like, whatever is your preference. My preference is the oat milk, so I put in 1 1/4 cups of that. We put in a cup of the rolled overnight oats. So that's that. We put in 1/4 cup of blueberries, which added out to be, I think I put in like 10. And then we mixed all of that together, stirred it up really good. I put in a tablespoon of chia seeds as well. And then I put it in my container. So here's my container. They've got the oats, the chia seeds, the milk, and the yogurt. We'll put this in the refrigerator and let it set overnight. And then the next thing you do when you're done is you're gonna layer it with a layer of your peanut butter or your almond butter or cashew butter. And then layer it with a layer of your blueberry preserves on top of the peanut butter. You can even sprinkle in a few other blueberries if you'd like on top, and then eat it like that. So there is your overnight oats, and I'll read out the directions just one more time. So you add your yogurt and almond milk to a medium bowl, stir well until combined and creamy. You're gonna stir in your chia seeds, your oats, and your blueberries. And then you're gonna cover the bowl, place it in the fridge for at least 3 hours or overnight. You can either cover that bowl or you can portion it out in the containers that you're gonna portion it or eat it from. Earlier on, I talked about different size containers. The containers that we used for the overnight oats were these storage containers. They fit in a lunch kit really great. These are 1.26 cups, so you can have definitely a good bit of oats in this one. We did that in this one, and then we actually layered it with the almond butter and the blueberry preserves in it just to see how that would go. So we did that one already. You can also use a mason jar for your oats. That can work as well. Whatever container that you want to have for your breakfast, you can definitely use that. So you put that in the refrigerator, let it set overnight, take it out in the morning, you spread your almond butter and your jam on top, and then you've got your breakfast. So and like I said, you can add a few blueberries on top just to garnish or whatever. And you can do this with bananas, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. You can use any type of fruit. You can use papaya, guava, any of those. You can use any of those fruits and add it to your breakfast because you want to get your serving of fruits and vegetables. So overnight oats is complete. We're going to clean up, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
You eat it cold, just like that.
And you eat it cold. You don't warm it up. You eat it cold.
How long, let's say if you do it, I think good for a week.
I would say they're good for about 4 to 5 days.
4 to 5 days, okay.
4 to 5 days in your refrigerator. So, one thing that we talked about at the last workshop was meal prepping and containers and storage. I wanted to show just a few types of storage containers that can be used for meal prepping. So we've got these containers here. I found these at Ollie's. They have portions and sections in them. So you've got your larger portion for your meats and your rice and stuff, and then you got your portions for your vegetables, your sections for your vegetables and that type of thing. And if you want to if you're that person that wants to keep all your food separate before you eat it, you can definitely use the sections to separate out your food so it doesn't touch before you eat it. Another thing that you have are these regular bowls, regular food storage containers. Stuck together. You can definitely section out your food. You can put your rice, your meat, your vegetables, all of those things in here, and then just cover it up, and you can take that whole thing, put it in the microwave, and it is microwave safe, so you can definitely use it in the microwave. We talked about meal prepping when you have kids and everything like that, so here are some other options. Like, let's say you've made food and your kid takes their school lunch to school with them. It's called a bento box, and it's got the different sections for the different things, and you can put snacks, and it's portion controlled for a child. And then here's kind of like the adult size of it. This one, you can definitely do the same thing. You can put your different sections in it. And this one I think is by Thermos, so you can actually put this in the freezer to make it cold, to make it stay cold, so when you actually take your food with you, it's still, chilled. So those are some of the type of containers that you can use to meal prep. Another thing that we talked about at the last workshop were your alternatives to white rice, pasta. Like, we talk about cutting carbs and not eating as much pasta and that type of thing. So how do you accomplish that? So there are definitely different types of pasta. This is like a regular rotini pasta, but it's made from chickpeas. Okay, so you would cook it just like you would cook your regular pasta. You boil your water, put in your oil and your salt so that the pasta doesn't stick when you're cooking it. And then, depending on the texture of the pasta you like, if you like it al dente, if you like it a little bit more thoroughly cooked, you want to cook it for about 8 to 10 minutes, or a little bit longer if you like it a little bit softer. But this one is made from chickpeas. This one is a whole grain rotini, like the corkscrew or the spirally pasta. They do have this whole grain in spaghetti noodles, and I want to say maybe the penne pasta. They do have it in whole grain as well. And then this one is also a rotini, the corkscrew pasta. This one is made from veggies. So, if you have a picky child that doesn't like to eat their vegetables, you can get this. It's pasta, but it's made from vegetables. So they're actually getting their servings of vegetables. Or if you're that adult that doesn't necessarily like, to eat certain vegetables, you can get your servings, out of, something like this. So it's tri-colored, and it is made with carrot, tomato, and spinach. So you get a half a serving of vegetables per 2-ounce portion. Another thing that we talked about in the last workshop was quinoa. Quinoa is also a different or an alternative to the rice and the pasta. This is a quinoa and brown rice blend. And this one you just kind of cook, on the stove, same way. And then this is a tri-colored quinoa. It's got the regular light brown or cream colored quinoa, and then it's got the red and then also the black. The way you prepare it is you boil 2 cups of water or chicken broth or beef broth, however you want to flavor it. You combine the water and the broth in 1 cup of quinoa in a medium saucepan. You reduce it to simmer, cover it, and let it cook until all the water is absorbed. So kind of like rice, but you bring the water to a boil first and then put it in the boiling water. And then once all the water is absorbed, you stir it around, take it off of the fire or off of the heat, and just let it sit. It will sprout, it will, enlarge, that type of thing. So it's not gonna stay tiny like this, okay? Quinoa is something that you have to get accustomed to in terms of texture. It is not the same as eating rice. It has a more pearly grain texture to it. Another alternative is couscous. So the couscous, again, it's one of those things that it's, hard when it's not cooked, and then when it's cooked, it gets soft and expands, kind of like the chia seed, all of that type of thing. So these are definitely alternatives to white rice and regular pasta. Another alternative to white rice and pasta would be cauliflower rice, where you take the cauliflower and they have it where it's already made. They've already grated the cauliflower and, like flash boiled it, and then you just cook it. So, or you can do it from scratch, where you just take the whole head of cauliflower and you grate it on a grater, and you get the little bits, and it comes out looking like little chunks of rice. So that's why they call it cauliflower rice. So those are some really good alternatives if you want to try and eat differently. All right, so here we go. I get out my little cooker. This is it's an interesting gadget because it's got a steamer on top and then like a skillet in the bottom where you can actually make soup or ground beef. You can saute, you can pan sear, you can do all kinds of things in here. We're gonna go off of the recipe that we've got. So this particular Marry Me Chicken recipe is a healthier version. So there are other versions out there on the internet that involve heavy cream and loads of cheese and loads of butter. This one is the healthier alternative because that's what this is all about. It's gonna have the same type of flavor, same type of aroma. It's just gonna be a little bit. I got my little cutting boards and stuff here. So first things first, we're gonna season the chicken breast. It says with salt and pepper, and in a large skillet over medium heat with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Cook the chicken for about 6 minutes per side or until golden brown. And then we're gonna transfer it to a plate. So we're gonna season our chicken. And I chose, it said chicken breast, but I decided to get the chicken tenderloins because we're gonna end up cutting up this chicken. So instead of having a chicken breast that we gotta cut, I decided to use the tenderloins. So we're gonna season it. It says salt and pepper. I don't just season with salt and pepper, but I gotta put a little bit of extra little seasoning on it. There's nothing, it doesn't hurt. So we're gonna use a little bit of salt and pepper. And my granddad taught me this a while back, where you put the salt in your hand, and I used to ask him, I'm like, why? Why do you do that? And he goes, can you see salt when you put it on something? He was like, you can see the pepper, but can you really see the salt when you put it on there? That way, when you put it in your hand, you know how much you're putting, that way. Or if you have like a salt grinder, you can see how much is coming out. This is just regular old seasoned salt. And season it a little bit, both sides. All right, I'm gonna turn on my skillet. Get my little bit of olive oil. I like these cute little bottles. Like, it was like, oh, that's just enough. I don't have to get a big bottle.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. All right, well, gonna let that heat up for a little bit. All right, so we seasoned our chicken. We put our oil in the skillet. We're gonna go ahead and put this in. Oh, yep, hear that sizzle.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. That's nice.
Okay, so we've got the chicken in there. We're gonna cook it for 6 minutes till it's browned and good, and we're gonna transfer it to another. We're doing that. We're gonna go ahead and start with some of the other stuff because we gotta chop some garlic. I'm using disposable cutting boards, but you know, in your homes, you're gonna use your regular cutting boards and stuff. We got a nice little color on one side. We're gonna flip it over. It says that we need minced garlic and shallots. So I've got, if no one knows what a shallot is, this is a shallot. It's like an onion, but not really. It's family to the onion. And you definitely can buy the regular minced garlic. I prefer fresh herbs, so got a couple cloves of garlic here. I don't know, something about the fresh herbs, just it tastes better to me. We're just gonna go ahead and chop these up while that's cooking. And there's kind of like a little secret to when you're chopping garlic, you can cut the tails off, right? And then if you mash it, the sleeve comes off. So you don't have to sit there and peel it and go through all of that hassle. So if you just mash it while it's like that, you can just peel it off real easy and quick. And then it's already almost in the process of you know, mashing it, so you can mince it a little faster. And garlic always smells really great to me. Chopping it. Ooh. One got away. He didn't want to stay on the table. And we're going to chop up our shallots. It says dice the shallot, same thing. Get that skin off of there. That's why I said it's like kind of like an onion because it's got that layer of skin. But once you peel it, the difference between like a regular like sweet Vidalia onion and the shallot, it's a little bit purple on the inside. I'll show you when I get it peeled. Boy, cooking with gloves is totally different than just cooking. So you can see, once I peel back some of the layers, instead of yellow like an onion, that salad is a little bit purple. So we're gonna dice that right here, along with the garlic. You can rough dice them, or you can be very particular about it. Either way. We've got our shallots and our garlic. Let's turn the chicken one more time. Looking nice and golden. Golden. I'll move my garlic and stuff over to the side. Gonna be my garbage tray here. All my scraps. So far we've seasoned our chicken with salt, pepper, and a little bit of seasoning salt. We've cooked it in our pan for about 6 minutes on both sides. Definitely cooked. I'm just crushing it a little bit to make sure that it's cooked on the inside. All right, we're gonna transfer that to this pan here, this plate. Transfer that to that plate. And then we're gonna add a tablespoon of butter. You can use vegan butter or you can use regular butter. The minced garlic and the shallots cook until it's fragrant. What I ended up getting was Country Crock plant-based avocado oil butter. It's definitely a healthier option, and for those people that are vegan that aren't necessarily eating dairy products, it works as well. So we're gonna eyeball a tablespoon. If you put that in a tablespoon, it'll be about a tablespoon once you thing it out. So we got a tablespoon of that, and we're gonna add our shallots and our garlic. Oh, I smell it. Turn the heat up just a little bit. And we've got the drippings from when the chicken was browning. We've got all of that in there. All right, I'm gonna turn it down. We are going to now add the chicken broth, the coconut milk, and the sun-dried tomatoes, and the nutritional yeast powder. So we've got a half a cup of chicken broth and a quarter cup of coconut milk and sun-dried tomatoes and a sprinkle of the nutritional yeast. So here is our chicken broth. Get my measuring cup. All right, so we've got our chicken broth. Just making sure. All right. Coconut milk, 1/4 cup. I know this is a 1/2 cup, so I'm only gonna pour it in about half. And again, like I said, there are other versions of this recipe, definitely, where they use like heavy whipping cream and stuff like that. And we're just gonna mix that until it gets nice and creamy. We're gonna add our sun-dried tomatoes. And the recipe calls for chopped. These are julienne cut, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of cutting to this, which is fine. Oh no, we won't. Well, maybe a little bit. I love sun-dried tomatoes. They're delicious. I think people think I'm weird, but I love sun-dried tomatoes. All right, we're gonna add those in. And definitely when you're doing this, like if you're gonna do it with the heavy cream and all that, it'll definitely have like a creamier consistency. Because then you can also regulate how much, you know, heavy whipping cream and stuff you use. And then the nutritional yeast powder, like I said, this is the healthier version. This is what is gonna actually bring that liquid together and make it creamy. So it's a 1.5 tablespoons, so that is about 1.5 right there. And like I said, the nutritional yeast powder, it is what gives it, like, you know how if you got some kind of broth or something and you want to thicken it up, you can use cornstarch or flour. Well, the rule of thumb is that if you have a red sauce and you use flour, the flour will lighten the color. It'll like take that red sauce from that deep red color to like a pink kind of color because of if you use bleached flour or whatever. However, if you use cornstarch, the cornstarch or arrowroot, it's clear. So when you add it to a liquid, even though it looks white, it becomes clear. And so if you're making like a red sauce and you add the cornstarch, you won't change the color of what you're cooking. All right, so we're gonna take the cooked chicken and I'm gonna chop it. I'm gonna cut it up in little pieces for this presentation. And transfer it back into the sauce. I might add a little bit more coconut milk. And this meal you can actually eat over pasta, or like, you know, the pasta that we had, or the you can eat it over rice or pasta or by itself. Get all that good chicken in there and all the, what do they call it, the drippings. Coat that a little bit more. I'm gonna definitely add just a little bit more coconut milk to it. It says simmer and reduce to medium low and cook until the internal chicken breast, well, we know how to cook chicken breast until the internal temperature is 165. Garnish with fresh basil. And you can also use red pepper flakes and stuff like that to just kick it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more coconut milk to this. Stir it. Just to give it a little bit more creamy texture. And this is definitely a one-pot meal. Definitely a one-pot meal. Even when you do it at home, you can do all of these things. And in this day and age of convenience and technology, there actually is like pasta and brown rice and other things that you can just put in the microwave for 90 seconds and then have, you know, your pasta or your meal or whatever. All right, I know that this is almost done. I've got it, I'm gonna put it up to cook just a little bit more. I'm going to season it with a little bit of oregano and just a little bit of red pepper flakes, and then I'll put the basil on top. This is where the flavor comes from. All the fresh herbs. And I won't put too much red pepper flakes because I don't want it to be too hot. And the other thing you can do is you can add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it, which I happen to have. See what it's looking like there?
Mm-hmm. It smells delicious.
Smells good, doesn't
Yeah.
it? A little bit of Parmesan cheese, and I actually do have some of those noodles that you just zap in the microwave, so I'll go ahead and do that, which I happen to have. See what it's looking like there?
Mm-hmm. It smells delicious.
Smells good, doesn't
Yeah.
it? A little bit of Parmesan cheese, and I actually do have some of those noodles that you just zap in the microwave, so I'll go ahead and do that. These are the noodles that I was talking about. You just zap them in the microwave for 60 seconds, and you are good to go. Now, if you're a vegan and you do not eat cheese, you can skip this step, or you can use vegan cheese. Like I said, it just makes it a little bit more creamy and flavorful. I'm gonna go ahead and cover that and let that sit for just a little bit while we get this pasta cooked. Perfect. You got kids in college, perfect solution. And then we'll take some of the fresh basil and garnish it. So I will be right back with this cooked pasta and some plates. All right, so we got our cooked pasta And we've got our Marry Me chicken, which is almost done. I think it is done. Go smell that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. It's a nice texture. We got some pasta. I'm gonna get a spoon to spoon it out. And we are done. Like I said, this was like a pasta that you just kind of pop in the microwave for 60 seconds. It's pre-cooked. We got some bow tie pasta here. And again, you can always, cook your own pasta. But like if you're at work and you don't have a stove that you can just, boil some pasta at work, this is a perfect solution. Especially if you're trying to stick to a diet, especially if you're trying to stick to, eating healthy, and you've got, this is what I'm eating, this is what I meal prep for the week, this is what I'm doing. All right, so we got our pasta on our plates, and here we go. Smell the garlic and the shallots. Smells really good. If I had a spoon, I'd be able to soak up some of that gravy. And then again, like I said, you can also garnish it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And there you go. Marry Me pasta. Marry Me chicken with pasta. So I want to thank you for coming out to the second workshop. Next week we'll talk about breakfast foods and healthy snacks. And we'll probably look at another, meal option or something like that. But you'll definitely get, the email by Wednesday so that you know what you're doing. And don't forget to click on that link and register in Eventbrite to come in. That way we can make sure we have enough seats for everybody and enough things for everybody to do their own. All right, so until next time, bye.